And now, without further ado, it's my distinct pleasure to invite Mr. Gary Sinise forward to the podium. And Mr. Sinise, it's a pleasure to have you here in Temecula. I will share with you, and because I told him that I would say this, we had a chance to meet with him briefly earlier, and with Juan Dominguez, who is the Marine who was wounded in battle, who will be the recipient of a house, and Mr. Sinise will tell us. And I told him how proud we were that Corporal Dominguez had decided Temecula was the place he wanted to live, and Mr. Sinise said, I like it here. I might want to live here. So maybe we'll be looking for a house for him too soon. Who knows? Mr. Sinise.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. Mayor and members of the council, thank you for having me. I'll be short and sweet because I know you have a lot to do. And I'm going to introduce my partner here, Frank Siller from the Untitled Towers Foundation, to say a few words. What we've done in partnership is to build homes for 3 of our quadruple amputees. Unfortunately, we have 3 surviving quadruple amputees that lost their arms and legs in either Iraq or Afghanistan. And we partnered up to raise the funds to build homes for these 3. Those homes are all in the works. One of those homes is finished. One is being built. The other, the land has been purchased, and we're underway with the fundraising campaign for that. That all happened in 2010, 2011, and we decided to partner up on 11 additional homes this year in 2012. And the first home that we'd like to build is for Marine Corporal Juan Dominguez, who chose Temecula to be his home. He's now in rehabilitation at Navy Medical Center in San Diego, and he found this beautiful community. And what we've done in the past with these fundraising campaigns is I have a band, and I do a lot of concerts for the military and have been all around the world doing what I can to make sure our military men and women know that we appreciate what they do, we care about them, and that we're not going to forget that they're serving out there. And when something bad happens to them, that we're going to do what we can to take care of them. I've been involved with the Disabled American Veterans Organization for many, many years, and various Wounded Warrior projects that are doing similar work. So what we like to do to begin the fundraising campaigns for these various home building projects is to bring my band into the community and to make the community aware that they have a hero in their midst who needs help and is going to need support. And we found that this model is working very well. I have a date of March 1st that we've selected for a possible concert here in Temecula. What I've been told today since I got here is that the city is pouring out their hearts for this brave Marine who's given so much for us, and that people are lining up to support this particular concert and this fundraising effort to build this home for Juan Dominguez. So I'm here to ask the City Council if we can have permission to go out in front of this building and do a rock show out there for Juan Dominguez, who has sacrificed 2 legs and an arm for this country. And obviously he's going to have special needs. And these homes that we build are actually have smart technology in them, so that we can specially design this home so that we can make his life more manageable in the future. And obviously he's going to live with this injury for the rest of his life. So I hope that you will grant us permission to come here to Temecula and to celebrate the service of Juan Dominguez by bringing the community together to raise money through this particular concert so that he knows that he's got a community that's welcoming and that's going to look out for him for many years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Sinise.
Thank you, Gary. My name is Frank
Mr.
Sill. I'm the
Siller.
chairman of the Stephen Siller Tunnel to Towers Foundation. And we partnered with Gary Sinise a while ago to start building these terrific homes for the greatest Americans. And how we got involved is my brother is one of the 343 firefighters that died on 9/11. And he made a decision on that day, instead of going home to play golf with myself and my brothers, to turn his car around, drive back to his Squad 1 in Brooklyn to his firehouse. He got his gear, drove to the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, strapped 65 pounds of gear to his back, and ran through the tunnel and gave up his life while saving the others. The greatest rescue mission ever in the history of America. And those firefighters, when they ran in there, they knew they were putting their lives on the line, that they were faced with decision. And our men and women every single day do the same thing. Whether they're running into a cave, whether they're out on patrol, and they pay a big price. And I think it is our duty and our responsibility as a country, and us most certainly as our foundation, to make sure that we take care of them. And you know what? I know already that this great city of Temecula is going to do that because, like Gary said already, he was only here for a few hours today, and the outpouring of the community has been unbelievable. So on March 1st, once the wisdom here passes and we could have this concert, and Gary comes with his band, and it's an unbelievable band, and we'll have a great night, and we'll celebrate the sacrifice that are made by Juan Dominguez and so many of our men and women in uniform. And thank you, and God bless you. Now, we have to leave. Gary forgot his lines for tomorrow morning, so he's got to go practice them. So we have to leave, and I just want to thank you, and I'm going to leave you with some FDNY hats for all of you up there, and thank you once again, all right? I'm going to give one to a good baseball player here, too.
Thank you, Mr. Siller.
Mr. Mayor, as they leave, can I say something?
Mr. Sinise, Mr. Siller, just 1 minute. We've got a question for you.
Well, not a question, but
or
just very
just a comment.
briefly, I'm sure I share the sentiment of much of the community. As someone who was born and raised in Brooklyn and one of the 2 veterans up here along with Mayor Washington, thank you. Sincerely, we appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, what a night. So I'll move on to consent calendar. And what I'd like to do, because I'm assuming that someone was going to pull that item dealing with the concert so that we could discuss it even though it was on the consent calendar. So I'd like to go ahead and pull that and hear that item now, item 9A, and then we'll do the balance of the consent calendar and the balance of the meeting. Let's see, we can get a start with the staff report. Is that you, Aaron?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. This item has been placed on at the request of Mayor Washington and Councilmember Comachero. On December 14, 2011, Mayor Washington and city staff met with representatives from the Stephen Siller Tunnel to Towers Foundation, which is headquartered in Staten Island, New York. The sole purpose of this foundation is honoring the legacy of a member of the FDNY who lost his life saving others during the 9/11 tragedy. Their mission has been to support children who have lost a parent, firefighters, and military who have been seriously injured and sacrificed their quality of life in the line of duty. In addition, the Stephen Siller Tunnel to Towers Foundation is committed to building smart homes for all military quadruple amputees. Through the Smart Home program, active U.S. Marine Corps member Juan Dominguez has selected the city of Temecula as his desired place of residence. As such, Standard Pacific Homes has committed to a home site in Paloma del Sol, which will be the first home constructed by the foundation in California. Attached to the staff report is a brief bio on Lance Corporal Juan Dominguez. As a part of this Smart Home program, the foundation has also teamed up with accomplished actor, musician, Gary Sinise, in putting on benefit concerts throughout the country for wounded soldiers. The proposed benefit concert to be performed by Gary Sinise and the Lieutenant Dan Band would take place within the Civic Center Quad and Town Square area on Thursday, March 1st. The Stephen Siller Foundation has requested the City of Temecula consider a co-sponsorship of this event by offering the venue and associated street closures necessary for the event. In addition, they have requested use of our off-site ticketing, in-kind marketing, and city support costs valued at $10,865 and $3,900 respectively. Per the agreement, concert promoters are required to pay necessary public safety costs for police and fire, estimated at $4,600, as well as posting a refundable cleaning deposit. Concert promoters are planning for the event to draw between 1,500 and 2,500 attendees. All proceeds collected are to be pledged toward assisting Mr. Dominguez with his home and other needs. The recommendations this evening are 3 parts and include the formation of a City Council ad hoc subcommittee, approval of the co-sponsorship agreement, as well as the approval of the appropriate street closures required for both the concert and the media event. And this concludes my staff report. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, are there any questions for staff? None? Do we have any requests to speak on the item?
No, sir, we do not. And if when we're ready, we could take a voice vote on that, that would be appreciated.
Right. Mr. Comachero, do you have a question, or you want to?
No, I have a comment if we're done with questions.
Okay, we have no speakers, so we'll move right on to council discussion. Mr. Comachero.
Well, for one, I just, going back to the comment I made when the presenters were here, I just think this is something for all of us to be very, very proud of, that Corporal Dominguez has selected our city, that we've got people out there in this country willing to assist our brave veterans. It's just inspiring to me, and certainly I would support doing anything we can to move that process along. One of those things I was thinking and listening to the staff report and reading the materials, so much of this is about what happened in New York and the brave fire department, the brave firemen and police who did so much to save so many and help in the aftermath. We're talking about providing police and fire services for a cost of $4,600 that we're asking the promoters to pay. I think it would be apropos for our own police and fire through the city to donate that time. I mean, obviously they'll be paid, but we'll pick it up. I'd like to see us pick up that $4,600 cost and not ask the promoters to pay that fee.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Comachero. Mr. Nagar.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To Corporal Dominguez and to many that find themselves in a similar life situation and those that are serving overseas, frankly, we owe you a debt we can't pay. And the item before us is the least we can do, to be quite honest with you. I am honored that you've chosen this community, and frankly, I think you're going to fit in quite nicely, and I hope to see you engaged in all the type of things that we do around here. And frankly, sir, I'd be honored to cut your lawn. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Nagar. Mr. Roberts.
Thank you. I looked over all the sponsorship agreement, and I think it was well written. I will agree with Mr. Comachero that that is a small price to pay for everything that's happened, and I agree with you on that. The one thing that I had asked for, just kind of because this is going to be on March 1st, and as you know, even in Southern California, the early part of March, you get some pretty big storms here. And I had asked that there would be a rain or shine disclaimer somewhere on the contract, which it's not, but I understand that Mr. John Hodge verbally agreed that it would go on rain or shine with no problems. And the question I have for City Attorney is that good enough?
If the motion is approved to provide for those additional costs, we can easily add it to the agreement.
That's the rain or shine?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to get that in there because every once in a while we'll get a couple inches of rain and it can throw really a lot of things off. So I just wanted that in there and it's in there now, so that's fine. That's all I want. I fully support this.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Mrs. Edwards.
I love the idea of doing this here at the Civic Center. It sends a really strong message about the sentiment that Temecula and Temecula residents have for our military men and women and for our veterans. And by doing this, I think that we're telling Mr. Dominguez, how much we appreciate his sacrifice, and even greater than that, how much we appreciate the sacrifice of all our men and women in the military and our veterans who have sacrificed so much. And I say we owe them everything because they have risked everything for us. So I fully support this project.
Thank you, Mrs. Edwards. And I'll just share what I took away from that very first meeting, which was back in, I believe, December. Was it December, Aaron, when we met with them? Early December. And they came out, and I showed up for the meeting. I came actually through the front door, which I don't usually do, come from the parking lot. And there were some folks standing out on the steps, and I didn't know who we were meeting with. And it turned out to be John Hodge and the folks from New York and a local gentleman, and they were coming up. But when they got here, they were so taken with our city hall, Temecula City Hall, that when we got to the meeting, they had previously planned to ask if we knew anybody out at Pechanga at the casino, because they were considering conducting the concert out there. And they said, have you ever thought about having a concert right out here in front of City Hall? And so it just happened that we had just not long ago had the Steve Miller Band out there in the concert, and it was well received. And we told them about that, and we had Christine come in and show some pictures from that, and they were very, very excited. And as Mr. Comachero, who joined me in speaking with them and somewhat representing the city, we told them we get a lot of folks that come and have proposals, but we were very impressed with the seriousness of this group and what they had accomplished so far and what their goal was. And I think we were inspired, as Jeff said, by what they wanted to achieve here. And they said it would be very easy, perhaps, just to ask for big donations and get the house built, and no one would know it happened right here in Temecula. But instead, what they wanted to do was they wanted to involve Gary Sinise and the Lieutenant Dan Band. And if you've never seen the movie Forrest Gump, Lieutenant Dan was one of the characters played in the movie, and he lost 2 legs. And he was Lieutenant Dan. And obviously, Tom Hanks played Forrest Gump and has been a supporter of Gary Sinise and Lieutenant Dan Band as well. But they said what we would like to do is bring Mr. Sinise in with his band, do a concert right here, which is exactly what we envisioned for this quad and what we envisioned for this civic center, and engage the community. And they have been so overwhelmed by the community support. We're not, because we see it day in and day out. We know what kind of community we have. We have people like young Alan growing up in this community. This is a very community-oriented group of folks here, and we knew they would support this effort. So I'm happy that they chose the site. I'm very proud that Corporal Dominguez chose Temecula, and that they're very impressed with our little town on the left coast here. We have lots to be proud of, and I'm going to support it as well.
How did he choose Temecula? Did they tell you?
Well, you know, Mrs. Edwards asked, how did he choose Temecula? Now, I'm told that he was very impressed with the schools and with the safety of the community.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's the 2 roles that the city and the school district play. And of course, again, I mentioned, and I hate to keep picking on Alan, but the fact that of all of the Major League Baseball players, 17 have degrees. These are the kind of people that this community is bringing up. And we're very proud of this community. So I think we'll show up in force to support the corporal and our armed services members whenever they need us.
So, Mr. Mayor, I was going to make a motion
Okay.
that in regards to item 1.1 and the ad hoc committee, that would be you and Mr. Comachero. In regards, same motion, in regards to item 1.2, that we'd approve staff recommendation, but also add that Police Department, Public Safety would pick up the fees, and the city would pick up the fees. Then item 1.3, we'd approve staff recommendation.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Nagar and a second by Mrs. Edwards. Any further comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries unanimously. Yes, ma'am.